The Yankees defeat the Guardians 3-2 on Tuesday night, and a game that was a real pitcher's duel through the first 6 innings, and then inning 7 happened, and it was a little bit of an offensive showcase that we'll talk about. And then the 9th inning, well, Devin Williams happened, and we'll talk all about that as well. But overall, let's take a look at what the Yankees did, and let's give a tip of the cap to another really strong start from Carlos Rodon. Wins his 8th game of the season. Final line of 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 walk, 1 earned run, and 8 strikeouts. And he was pretty dominant most of the night. That final inning of work for him, there were, some hiccups, particularly in that 7th inning. That got a little bit weird. You had a Jose Ramirez single to start the inning. He steals second. David Fry singles in Jose Ramirez to tie the game 1-1. Then Gabriel Arias gets a single, but there's a misplay in center field. He tries to take second, gets tagged out, which turns out to be a humongous out in the inning. Will Wilson walks, and then with facing what was likely going to be his last batter of the game, regardless of the outcome, Bo Naylor flied out to left center field to Cody Bellinger to end the inning. So overall, another really strong start for Carlos Rodon, whose ERA is now down to 2.49, a whip of 0.93, and been everything you want. Top 3 in the American League in strikeouts, and is really just doing everything that you need him to do so far. Offensively, there wasn't a ton for the Yankees, if we're going to be perfectly honest. There wasn't a ton for anybody. Through 6 innings, this was, it was a 1-0 game. With the only run coming in the bottom of the 5th inning for the Yankees. And that was I'm trying to even see what that ended up. That was the DJ LeMahieu RBI, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a DJ LeMahieu RBI single to right field. And that was really the entire offense, as Tanner Bybee looked really, really good up until the 7th inning. He comes in the 7th inning in the low 90s in the pitch count, but he was left out there. And then the Yankees really kind of started to tee off. So understanding, if you didn't watch the game, the scenario is the Yankees, pitchers duel all game, not many hits, really not many walks, not many base runners in general for either team, particularly if your name wasn't Jose Ramirez. And you're just you're up 1-0. You have that sequence I just broke down for you in the top of the 7th that gives, could have been bad. That could have been a 2 or 3 run inning, but it wasn't. It was 1 run. It tied the game at 1. And then the Yankees really came out and responded. Jazz Chisholm in his first game back off the IL, homers to open the inning. Anthony Volpe makes it back-to-back, the guy that we talked a lot about on our Monday episode of the Bombers Beat, or our Tuesday episode of the Bombers Beat podcast, where we talked extensively about Anthony Volpe. He makes it back-to-back home runs in that inning that give the Yankees a 3-1 lead. Mark Leiter pitches a pretty uneventful 8th. He did walk a batter, but overall pitched a pretty uneventful 8th. And then the Yankees go into the bottom of the 9th inning, up 3-1. Obviously, we learned earlier this week that Luke Williams, wow. Combining, I guess that's what the situationship between the back end of the bullpen. It's the Luke Williams combination. No, we learned that Luke Weaver was going to be placed on IL retroactive to June 1st. And is going to miss an undisclosed amount of time, but the estimates right now that have been said publicly are 4 to 6 weeks, although Aaron Boone did not decline to let the media know what grade the hamstring strain was. But it does sound like that we're probably looking July or possibly even post All-Star break before we see Luke Weaver again, and mentioned that Devin Williams was going to be the closer. And despite, throwing 2 of the last 3 days, Devin Williams got the opportunity to close on Tuesday, and it was an event, as it seems to always be when Devin Williams is put into the game in the 9th inning. And obviously, if you watch the broadcast, or if you've just been watching in general, you've seen a pretty stark contrast between what his ERA and the base runners allowed when he comes in the 8th inning versus when he comes in the 9th inning. And it's drastic. Like, his ERA is still over 10 and will remain that way tonight. when he pitches the ninth inning. And we'll talk about it. So comes into the inning, gets the first guy out, gets Kyle Manzardo to fly out to start the inning. In a really, really long double-digit pitch at bat, Carlos Santana doubled to left center. Then he gets Gabriel Arias to strike out swinging. And again, you're still in the shape of, okay, you've got two guys out, you got a runner on second, you got a 2-run lead. You get the next guy out. You don't even think about the double. It's an overall, okay, it's a good outing. Well, he didn't get the next guy out. Daniel Sheneman, who came in to pinch hit, gets a single, which allows Carlos Santana to score. So now it's a 3-2 game. He then steals second during the Bo Naylor at bat, and so now you're in a scenario where you all of a sudden the tying run is in scoring position, the winning run is at the plate. He does get Bo Naylor to fly out in the end, but and gets a 6th save of the year. But overall, it was a sweat, as it's just how every ninth inning with Devin Williams has been so far, and I don't see that changing now. Given the way the Yankees typically manage their bullpen, he will not be available on Wednesday. If the Yankees are in a save situation Wednesday night here against Cleveland, Devin Williams will not be getting that save opportunity just because of his usage in 3 of the last 4 games. But, man, I don't know if I can do 4 to 6 weeks of this. I mean, he got out of it. I guess, and that's the nicest thing you can say about it. But this is, look, the Yankees have some options. I do think Mark Leiter could be an option for that ninth inning spot. Boone has been very much behind Devin Williams this entire time, and I think I talked about it a couple weeks ago on this podcast of, from a player standpoint, if you're Devin Williams, I think you have to be very grateful for the way that Aaron Boone has not only talked about you, but the way that he actually shows his actions toward you. For a player that is new, that hasn't really developed a rapport with Aaron Boone, yet, doesn't have like a multi-year history of being a guy that Aaron Boone can trust. He's given him every opportunity, and he continues to give him every opportunity. And I think, much to the chagrin of myself and a lot of Yankees fans, he's going to continue to get every opportunity in games that he's available for. I just don't know how this is going to go. And I know what the fan base feels about Devin Williams right now. I can't really push back against it. I don't feel good when Devin Williams comes to the mound in the ninth inning, really with a lead of any kind, 2 runs, 3 runs, 4 runs. I don't really feel great about it. But it's the reality of what the next month is going to be for Yankees baseball. We will see if he can do better, because if not, we need to start to look at some of these other options. Again, it's not like there's a long list. There are guys that, I know, Jonathan Loaizaga has the stuff to be in that role, but he's been a little inconsistent. Fernando Cruz just came off the IL. I do think this is a scenario where, not just regardless of the Weaver injury, I do think they're going to plan to probably add another high-end bullpen arm at some point in the next 8 weeks before the deadline. But we'll see. But you know what? Let's stay positive. The Yankees win. The Yankees continue their streak of solid play, and they'll take that into tonight's game against Cleveland. Once again, it is a 7:05 Eastern start time. It'll be Clark Schmidt on the mound against Luis Ortiz, and that's an Amazon Prime game for those of you keeping track. And then the final game of the series is, again, another 7:05 start time where Max Fried will take the mound against Slade Cecconi. So, again, this is another series now. You've taken one. There's absolutely no reason why you can't win one of these next 2, if not the next 2, and have another series win. We've had a pretty good streak, aside from the Dodger series. We went 1-2 of series wins recently, and I believe that this should continue for the Yankees, and we will see how the back end of the bullpen shakes out now. There's going to be some guys unavailable. Again, I don't know if anybody else other than Williams is going to be a hard unavailable for this game tonight, but we will see how things go, and we'll see what happens with Clark Schmidt, who, again, has been very, very up and down at times this season, but he had a very, very good start against the Angels last week with the 6 shutout innings. So hopefully he can continue to build off of that. Because, again, for the most part, he has been really, really solid lately. The Colorado game notwithstanding, you look back at his last 5 starts against San Diego, Seattle, the Mets, and the Angels, those last 5 starts with Colorado in the middle there, all of them really solid. And so they need another solid effort from Clark Schmidt again here on Wednesday. And we will break down everything that happens in this game, preview the series finale, discuss anything that comes out about additional changes to the roster and more. But the Yankees defeat the Guardians. Jazz Chisholm homers in his return. Anthony Volpe homers as well. And the Yankees escape with a 3-2 victory.